So do we have a connectivity issue? Okay, so I am going to attempt to deal with the connectivity issue, and Darwin is going to talk about, what would you like to talk about?
So, does that mean our guests can't see what's on screen right now?
That's correct.
Okay, I will talk a little...
So they can see you.
Oh, okay. Well, that's important. Well, first, then I should be modeling my StarRealms shirt. No. Anyways, hopefully Nathan can get the connectivity fixed very soon. I'm excited to see what we have in this format without the events and the gambits. I personally think that having events and gambits can actually add more skill. It's just a different skill set. So, for example, people find this format without the gambits and events to be more of a pure format because it's more similar to the StarRealms they learned originally, where it's all about just buying ships and bases from the center row and making good choices with that. Events and gambits shake the game up and make you play a different way because suddenly you have cards besides ships and bases that introduce new mechanics, which are, another type of randomness than what ships and bases are being revealed. But my feeling is that that actually adds more skill because you need to master that type of randomness the same way you're mastering ships and bases, but different. So it actually broadens the number of skills you need to perfect for it. So I personally prefer playing with all the sets because I like to stress all of my different skills. But I think for a lot of StarRealms purists, they'll really appreciate the format we're about to have here in the semifinals. How's the connectivity going, Nathan?
I channeled my inner IT.
Mm-hmm.
I cast a little spell.
This sounds promising.
And we're ready to play.
Yes.
So let's go to the action and let's see what we've got. So at the beginning, we had turn one already get going, and you can see that he grabbed. What hero is that?
Took a turn one blob destroyer, looks like.
Yep.
Oh yeah, he's got a Trade Federation hero in play already.
Yep. And here we see.
Oh yeah, you can tell he's not playing events because he's pressing play all.
Yes. Yes, I have learned that lesson the hard way. All right, so here we go. Here we go back to Alpha. That's Rodney Dangerfield, and we're just going to play out his hand. And so there's no question for me what I'm picking up here.
Yeah, I mean, he'll be able to load up on scrapping early, which is usually a good way to go unless there's something really desirable and expensive on the board.
He didn't take the
well, so that only scraps when you hook up the ally ability, and I think maybe he wanted the sure scrapping more. And as it turned out, he ended up with both of them anyways.
Okay.
Of course, now that there's an 8-cost like Capital World in play, he may be wishing that he had more trade.
Yeah, this board is
ability.
Extremely expensive, and he's going to pick up an Explorer certainly here.
Although by picking up the blob ship, he'll be able to scrap it if he draws it before his opponent gets to 8 trade.
Yep. Well, I mean, there's all sorts of reasons to be happy if you get above 6, for instance. Never mind if you can get to 8, obviously. If you get to 8, that'll be good. So not a lot of people play on Surface tablets. That's what we got here. We've got the Lenovo Horizon tablet. But StarRealms looks gorgeous on this thing. I gotta be honest.
I think he's gonna want the Hive here to go with his blob destroyer.
No, that's correct. I completely agree. So it looks like Dangerfield is...
And if he can get those two together, he'll be able to get rid of the Capital World himself.
Yeah, he's going to be able to get the Capital World before Carl can buy it. He doesn't have any path to get to...
Right. Looks like they're both going green. Neither of them are really trying to get the Capital World. They're both trying to prevent the other person from having it. They're like, if I can't have it, no one can. Oh, yeah. So
that's going to be a big turn for him next turn. I agree. Yep.
So he'll be able to control the board more.
Yep.
Interestingly enough, they're both fighting for the same archetype at the moment because they're both going in on blobs and going aggressive.
So when your opponent does that to you, how How do you react to that? So sometimes it feels like I'm being stubborn when I fight against it, but if I just give in, I feel like I'm giving in and I'm handing the game over.
Right. Well, I mean, at this point, there's a couple things. The one thing is you just try and do it better than them, because if you're competing over the same cards, every card you take that helps you is a card that they don't get. And so now he's got to think, with his ability to scrap cards in the center row, every card he scraps that his opponent would like is a card that he might like too. But he's playing it safe and getting rid of the expensive cards. But frankly, that doesn't really hurt his opponent, because his opponent hasn't been going on a trade-heavy strategy anyways.
Right.
So when in doubt, just focus on making the trade row better for the turn you're on, which I think is what he's doing, and I'm totally fine with that. He's definitely, he got rid of the heroes, because he's already got one blue hero, and he doesn't want his opponent to be able to gain health to fight against his aggressive strategy here. And I think when you're going in the mirror match, being the one with more scrapping can be a huge deal.
Sure.
He's a little bit behind in the scrapping, but he picked up the supply bot, which, you know, he's hoping will help even that out a little bit.
So we're going to watch the play out here, obviously. That's what
this should be a big turn, and you'll be able to get rid of his opponent's base for free with the Blob Destroyer. And once again, they both have a lot of ability to scrap cards in the center row, so they can really control what their options are on their own turn, which is one of the reasons why it's not even worth worrying too much about what their opponent's going to do with the trade row. Just set it up for your own turn.
Fascinating that he took out the trade bot, but he's not going to get rid of the missile.
He's already ahead on scrapping.
Yeah.
So he's looking for, just wants to stay ahead, but getting the trade bot won't advance his ability to push his opponent off the table.
Hey, it's Cutter by Cutter.
I mean, he's already significantly behind on health. He's behind by 12 authority, so the trade bot won't help you when you're behind.
It's true. Although that 15 he just delivered,
that was a nice
little turn. Yeah,
that was a nice swing. It's possible that this Trade Federation hero in play could end up playing a big role, given the amounts of damage combat that's going back and forth.
So here we see Carl sorting through.
Yeah, once again, he's not really worrying about getting rid of the cards his opponent wants. He's just trying to set up his own turn. And I think that's smart.
He's not going to be able to do a lot with that.
I think this will be one of the faster games we see today, given how aggressive both of them are going.
I agree. So do you scrap the Explorer here? Seems like you probably should.
At this health total, or authority total, excuse me, I totally would. I've been playing a lot of epics, that's why I'm saying health.
Yes.
But yeah, no. One of the things it helped them get rid of the hive, which was nice. As the board was expensive early, so you needed the Explorers, but when you're this low in authority, you really need to focus on triggering your ally abilities and getting rid of those Explorers, because you know, they're just not helpful in triggering your ally abilities.
Well, here we see
he conveniently got his 2 red cards together, so he'll be able to take advantage of the ally ability on the patrol bot. That's what it's called. Sorry. Yeah. I'm so used to just looking at the art and knowing what the card does, and sometimes I forget the names of the new cards.
So I think if my count is correct, the only so he's down to 5
of his starting deck.
5 of starting deck.
Yeah, that's going to help him a lot in the way things are playing out.
All right, so he's got 6 trade here.
His hand's not great, and he's already behind on health. He's going to have to be very lucky on his next round. And he did not get rid of the Explorer.
You don't buy the base? So I can understand why not getting rid of the Explorer, because the only way he's going to win is if he can stretch it out. And so he might want to be trying to stretch it out an extra shuffle.
So the thing is that not only can he get rid of his opponent's bases without spending any of his combat, he also does 6 to them, which is a much bigger swing than the base would have done for him. The base isn't really going to affect play at all, except for protecting him at this point. I definitely agree with his play. I could understand when you're behind in health, the instinct of getting protection, but sometimes the best defense is a good offense, and this was probably one of those times. Wow, things are happening fast now.
They're happening very, very quickly.
You got to go in the tank a little bit to decide what he's going to scrap, because these decisions are going to be crucial at this point.
So
although
if he's trying to help himself,
helping himself isn't a big deal, because he's got 13 cards left in his deck. So the cards he sees now, he's not going to be getting. The game will be over for that. So now he is thinking about hurting his opponent. He's like, what does my opponent want here? 'Cause his opponent only has 5 cards left in his deck. His opponent might actually see some of these cards.
I don't think he has 33 damage in his deck. If my math is right, I think he's in the upper 20s. I don't actually think he can finish him off before the shuffle.
All right. Well, unfortunately for him, it just may mean that he'll be dead before he sees these cards again.
Yeah. So what do we see? Yeah. So we get 5, another 5. He just did 15.
He's just tried to do the math you did.
Yeah.
He came to the same conclusion you did, and that's why he didn't scrap his blob ship there, because he decided, well, you know, if I'm going to win this game, I'm going to potentially see this card again. But fortunately, he got a pretty good hand there, so that might help.
One of the metrics I try and keep track of is the relative amount of damage that I have versus my opponent. And this is above and beyond all of the other side effects that you need to have. It's very tough to win the game if you aren't putting more damage into your deck than your opponent does.
This makes a lot of sense to go blob here and get a card draw.
Oh, nice draw,
this
kid.
This is some pain here.
So he can't get to 28 this turn.
But boy, is it close.
He's gonna. I think if my math is right, he's gonna get down to 5.
And I think that's gonna be a big problem for his opponent to come back from.
So Carl is gonna be down to 6.
Seriously on the ropes.
Yep.
And he can't luck into an event to help turn things around, unfortunately for him.
Yep.
You know, normally what I'm playing right now is when I'd be praying for an event to help turn things around.
So he should use the ally power to there to scrap one of the scouts.
You know, maybe
he's got a shuffle coming right now.
Sure, he might get something useful like a blob fighter. I mean, and plus he needs to scrap a card from his discard pile. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know why he didn't do that. It probably won't matter.
He might be a little bit overconfident at this point. Yeah, no, it looks like it's not going to matter at all, because this is not going to help.
This is not a great turn.
Yeah, it's not going to help. I think it's all over, but the
99.
The
party's over. So this is
parade.
Yes, the angels in space. So
yeah, he's not even going to get rid of the hive. That's got to be game, I think. I mean, he's half dead on the board.
He's not technically dead on the board, but it's close.
And if I recall, his opponent's hand was good enough to squeeze out another 3. Oh
yeah, no, he's got it. All right, so that's going to be game 1 of 3, and hopefully they'll just do the rematch button.
Get right back in. I'm going to be interested to see if they go aggressive again, whether they just always go aggressive because that's their style, or whether they went aggressive because of that board.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, I mean
and whether they have more than one style. Given that they're in the semifinals, I'm guessing they're flexible enough to play more than one style.
This is a horrible board going first, and there's an argument there that you just take Explorer and just give your opponent the board as you saw it.
100% would have taken an Explorer there, but I mean I don't think that was a crazy play, but I would have taken the Explorer.
Yeah, I mean that was one of our. Well, we weren't calling them Legend Series at the time. But that was.
So I think if I'm Carl, I go ahead and take the Screecher.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's not amazing, but it's probably the closest to a good early game card.
And there's still no economy. We got a nice close-up of the Alba.
There's definitely a card to strive for. The central office came up, and if I'm in this game, I'm racing for that. I'm grabbing Explorers to try and quickly get up there, but that's not the direction they're going. Oh, that trade bot's a nice early game card.
Yep.
He got very fortunate that buying a 3, that trade bot came up. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the battle station early, but it does.
Well, if your opponent's picking up Screecher,
right,
it's a totally justifiable play.
Yeah, and he might still be shell-shocked from how aggressive that last game was, and how good a base like that would have been in that aggressive game.
I mean, basically, you know, we've had this conversation before. If you believe that you have a higher skill level than your opponent, then you want to stretch the game out so your skill matters more over time. I don't think that he thinks he's specifically better than his opponent. We're both in the semifinals of a very competitive event, but...
Well, I mean, on the one hand, if he knew that he was going to be getting a trade bot, then yeah, you want to stretch the game out. The problem is he didn't know he was getting trade bot,
right, and
spending a turn not developing to stretch the game out is sort of counterintuitive.
Yeah. So that was this board is this is one of my I love this card. I don't remember the name of it.
Imperial Trader.
I love the Imperial Trader. You know, It's the trade card. I don't feel.
He'll be able to afford it next turn if his opponent doesn't get it.
Pardon me. It's the trade card. I don't feel bad buying on the second shuffle.
I'm thinking I would draw a card with his hero here to try and get that Imperial Trader.
I agree.
But it looks like he's not going that one.
I mean, you know, he's going to see
Is he
it.
Thinking about
it's
it.
blinking.
Oh, it's
He's
a 50-50 chance because it's a
tough
Viper.
call. You got to go for it.
100% would go for it.
But
56.
No, he's going to go the conservative line.
Which, you know,
and he's only buying one.
Wow.
Interesting. So that's interesting.
Yeah,
so buying one Explorer into a deck
for me,
of 11
it's more
cards.
binary than that. Like, either it's correct to be going after Explorers or it's not. Like, but obviously he doesn't see it that way, and he's made it to the semifinals. So hopefully that means he knows what he's doing.
I mean, one of the advantages of sitting here.
He's getting rid of the Imperial Trader, despite the fact that he has. I would have gotten rid of everything but the Imperial Trader. Wow, because that would have ensured that you had a good option, if nothing else. But, well, you know, he can grab the, you know, battle pod and see what comes up.
I mean, okay, I'll tell you this. So here I'm going to do some pop sci. The fact that he wiped the board, including Imperial Trader, says to me that he's not interested in playing a conservative, grindy game. He wants to grab some damage and lay down some lasers right now.
Right. So of the two of them, maybe he's just a committed aggro player, and
I can respect it.
Yeah, and if, given that his opponent's not going as aggressive, maybe that's going to work out for him.
That's a pretty pedestrian turn. Hey, look, Battle Station did what it did. The best ablative armor in the game.
So he's got at least 4 trade.
Yeah, he's got 4 trade. He's got
no.
Why did you play both of those Vipers there?
Oh, yeah, he definitely should have scrapped one from his hand with the trade bond.
Got to be a misclick. No, go back to the other camera, please. There we go. So, what does he do?
Yeah, he's definitely trying to bunker down a little bit. Like, he's got his battle station, and now he's got some health gain. You know, I think this might just be a reaction to how aggressive the last game was.
Yep.
And his opponent is playing along and going aggressive, and we'll see which one of those strategies works out better.
I mean, he's got those 2 heroes, and he's going to sit on them and with them for a while, and that's, again, as we described, you know, Rodney is building up to, you know, bunker mentality. He's going for the longest of games.
Wow, so he's going aggressive but still buying Explorers, although at least he scrapped that one.
Yeah, he's in a weird state, and the board is in a weird state.
Yeah, there's a lot of expensive cards out there that are really attractive, like those expensive bases. But with the Battle Screecher wandering around, you never know how long those are going to stay there.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the value of Battle Screecher goes way up if you're playing with events. But
so
it's
he
still
doesn't
fine.
have any yellow cards, any Star Empire cards with ally abilities to go with his heroes. I'll be curious how he makes use of them. Like, you know, at any point, a random card draw could get him to a purchase he wants.
Well, sure.
And I don't know how useful the 1 discard is going to be if he doesn't buy more discard, or at least getting a yellow ally ability at some point.
So the 1 discard is no big deal, but, you know, as we've just discussed before, the value of draw a card scales linearly over the course of the game. Drawing card early can be helpful to let you buy things that then will help you later. Drawing 1 extra card on the 5th or 6th shuffle could be the difference between winning and losing.
Yeah, I'd be actively looking for an excuse to use it.
Ooh,
like, I'm not sure why he used it there, especially playing his whole hand first. But maybe he thought he'd hit an Explorer and be able to get the Capital World.
Yeah, he's got plenty of, like, he just...
But I feel like
luck.
he had some better gambles he could have made with a higher percentage chance of getting them before this one, but I think he might be worried he's falling a little bit behind, and so he thought he should gamble.
All right, so we go over to...
And maybe he was worried about this Battle Screecher getting rid of the Capital World and felt it was, you know, he was going to need that Capital World to turn it around.
Although...
Especially now his opponent has Port of Call.
Yeah, he only had 2
so
cards
now
left
he's
in the
trying
deck.
to decide whether he should even get rid of the Capital World with the Battle Screecher, and he decided, you know, I've got the Port of Call, I'm just going to make sure my opponent doesn't get the Capital World.
I agree. I think this is the... I think he picked the 2 right cards.
I mean, given that he's got the Port of Call, maybe he should be letting expensive cards sit out there since he's got a better shot at actually getting them. But I think he's still just looking for aggressive cards to go with strategy. So now I definitely think it's time to get rid of the Explorers.
Scrap the Explorers? Yep.
especially
right before the shuffle.
Yeah, because got his opponent under 40. Generally, my default is when either myself or my opponent get below 40 authority, that's Explorer scrapping time in the way I view it. I mean, there's other gameplay considerations like what my deck looks like and how trade heavy the board is and stuff. But all things being equal, my default is when one of us dips below 40.
It's been a real treat for me watching these matches. I've definitely been learning, and I hope the viewers at home have been picking up some tricks too. If you are new to StarRealms, welcome to the party. The game is available on Steam. It's on both app stores. And
wow, I'm really surprised he didn't take one of the combat cards there, because he's leaving some really lethal cards on the board for his opponent at this point in the game.
Ram seems like an auto buy there.
Well, also just they're both starting to dip below 40 when we're getting past the build up your deck stage and more on the getting ready for the finishing blow stage. And cards like Ram and Imperial Frigate are really good for that.
And we're getting into it.
And also he has an Imperial Hero in play that would go nicely with that Imperial Frigate.
Mm-hmm. If my math is right, we're now entering turn 18.
And that might be one of the reasons why his opponent just took the Imperial Frigate instead of the Ram, is because he sees that Imperial Hero sitting there and wants to deny the Frigate to him.
So this discard is going to be kind of irrelevant versus what he wants to buy, because the board just got swept. And in fact, it enables the discard.
And you can tell they think they're getting closer to the end game because he's scrapping scouts instead of Vipers. Because typically I always am going after...
He just used his hero to make his opponent discard one there, and not later.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I mean, so as we discussed earlier, now, this is ultimately not going to impact him. The power of draw a card scales linearly. The power of making your opponent discard a card scales linearly, also, especially if they're scrapping. Now, in this case, they're not scrapping, but making your opponent discard a card in the later parts of the game where there's more good cards in the deck means you're more likely to not just waste it on a basic card.
And his deck's not loaded with cards to ally with the hero, but I think sometimes you play the math and sometimes you play the feel, and that felt like a feel play to me. He's like, this feels like the right time to do this, because I don't think that there was anything in particular about the math that said, oh, this is precisely the right time to play it. Like they've made a lot of plays like that where I feel like they're playing a little bit instinctively.
And again, I mean, there's nothing to scrap. I guess there's nothing in the discard pile.
He definitely should. Oh, there we go.
No, he's got to have at least one thing, and you might want to scrap the scrapper in the discard pile at this point. Like, that's just going to get you one trade.
Right, well, he definitely overplayed his hand, because he ended up with one trade in play, so he could have just not played one of those scouts and scrapped it.
Yeah.
I think they're rushing a little bit. And
they are. Well, I mean...
I think at this level, rushing is not correct.
Sure, but on the other hand, I mean, you've entered hundreds of tournaments. You've made it into the top 4 of, I'm assuming, dozens of tournaments with stakes. And my understanding is that that's not true for either of these two guys. And I've been under the lights, and it can be a stressful thing.
This is in that case, this is a teachable moment. When you're playing in a tournament or playing for any sort of stakes at all, slow down.
Yep.
Like you really need to consider the implications of your actions and your plays, because in this case, the drawbacks to slowing down are few, and the disadvantages are many, and I think it's showing up with the way some of these things are playing out.
That's true.
He's in a lot of trouble here because he's not going to be able to get rid of that port of call unless he gets rid of his own base, and given the fact that he's at 25, getting rid of his own base is very risky.
I would absolutely do it, and here's why. That port of call is 3 turns away from coming back, at least, if not more.
Or he puts the power in his opponent's hands, because the port of call can get rid of the battle station.
Yeah,
so if it's to his opponent's advantage to keep the port of call, he will. If it's his advantage to get rid of the battle station, he will. So you're putting the decision in your opponent's hands. So take it out of his hands. I agree with that, because he could also draw a card with the port of call in the process.
Right.
So it was painful, but I think it was correct.
Yep.
Because the battle station cannot save him as long as the port of call is out there, so he might as well.
Yep.
And his opponent's not going to draw the Port of Call before this game's over, given that he's got a 15-card deck.
The winner of this match will be advancing to the finals.
So he has 5 trades, so I like getting rid of the battle cruiser there because he wasn't going to be able to get it anyways.
Yep.
And frankly, this is more about heroes than anything else because, yeah, see, that worked out poorly for him because he drew something and exposed a Trade Federation hero for his opponent because there's no events to reveal and likely neither of them are going to draw the cards they buy. So he's almost better off not purchasing anything if he's not going to have the trade to buy a hero that gets revealed.
So if I remember the deck, and I would need to look at it, it's unclear that there's 26 damage in Dangerfield's deck.
I mean,
and because
also
that's
it's possible
true,
you underbuy in hopes that a hero comes up that you can buy.
Right.
But unfortunately, wow. So his opponent.
No,
his opponent could still get the hero.
No, he's got to buy the hero here. He's not going to buy the frigate, right?
He's thinking about the fighter, but he doesn't have the yellow to go with it. So I think it's got it. Wow.
Oh no, I see.
Wow, that is some.
That is
cojones. Taking that instead of gaining 2 health and getting the hero.
So the only way that play is correct.
When they're low 20s, I think you gain the 2 health and take the hero.
So the only way that's correct.
And I don't know if he has a very good read on his opponent's ability to kill him soon.
And I mean, he looked at the deck. I don't know that he has. There's a bunch of damage in Carl's discard pile. I don't know how much is left in the deck. I don't know that he has 23 damage in. Right?
Yeah,
we're gonna see it in a second. Right there, right? There's not.
Oh,
that wasn't fast enough.
That looked like he had enough to me at a glance. Yeah, I think that was a calculated risk.
Yeah, so we got 4, 5,
not
8,
ideal with his hand.
We'll see.
He's got to hope that his purchases matter here.
Yeah, he's going to buy this. He's going to buy the destroyer, if my math is right. He's going to thin his deck twice, so he's going to have a very good chance of drawing something nice.
So he's got either 4 or 6 trade, and it looks like he should be going for 4. So why not buy the thing that costs 4 first before he makes the decision on the patrol bot? Because, like, if nothing good comes up, why not go for combat?
Well,
because so now it's buy an explorer or not have done 4 damage.
He should use that ally ability. He missed it.
Wow, he's playing very casually for the semifinals.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate. It happens sometimes. He might be focusing on doing math on his opponent rather than looking at his own thing. I've done that.
Sure, and I mean, we've all made suboptimal plays, but once again, I think this is
really.
Yes. I prefer not to go into it here. Let's keep the focus on the play in front of us. But I do think that once again, this is a teachable moment. Like you just slow your play down.
So he should be using. He should have scrapped the Star Empire card to draw a card, right?
Well, I think he was close to the shuffle, so he's still thinking he might get it back. Admittedly, his opponent's at 3, so I probably would have scrapped it, but I think it's more defensible.
Probably
than
academic.
Some of the other plays
so I don't think even with perfect draws he has 19 damage coming in this turn. All right, that's going to ally, so we're at 7. That scrap isn't going to do anything for him. So I think it's time for the.
Oh, that construction hauler did some good work there.
Oh, it's true. That rarely comes up when I play it, but...
Oh, man, I love construction hauler. That could be a game-turning play there, especially with that new hand he's got.
Well, that's a ton of allying, a ton of card drawing.
Can we see 15 damage here? Based on the hand he has, I think it's very possible.
All right, so
we got some interesting draws here.
He
whiffed the first one. Wow, what he draws off the frigate is probably going to determine the game here.
Yeah, he's looking at it and doing
a lot of good options, but clearly he has to blow it up. That part's clear.
Oh.
Wow, he whiffed on 3 card draws. You can see the frustration from his body language. I'm sympathetic. Like that 3 card draws and only drawing beginning cards has got to hurt.
Yeah, his purchases here don't matter. All right,
yeah,
so
I'm confident there's 9 damage at least coming.
He's like, yeah, do we have a thing? Yeah, he draws either of those green cards.
Yeah, I've got more than 9 damage heading his way.
Yep.
Wow, the construction hauler turned that game, and then some bad luck on the other end.
So there we have it. And so
Two
we
wins in a
have
row.
2 wins in a row. So Rodney Dangerfield, and I got to be honest, that is, I would say, against the run of play. I think that is a win that he got.
Very aggressive play there.
Very aggressive play. So let's stand back up and let's wrap up for the round. So, pardon me, I'm a little tangled.
I think that all things being equal, aggressive play is highly rewarded in StarRealms. I think that being able to beat a good aggressive player by not playing aggressive is very nuanced and very difficult.
Yeah.
It definitely can be done, and I actually like to play that way, but it's very challenging.
Yeah, I've been I'm relatively experienced in the game. I've been playing it for now a couple of years straight, and that's been a skill that I've been building over time. And I know that there's more for me to go. Like one of the things I was talking about in an earlier round is one of the reasons why I fell in love with StarRealms is that this game rewards you the more time you put into it, and it's not. There's that first layer of buy stuff, build stuff, smash. And then there's that second and third layer that you get into, like we just saw here in this game.
And one of the nice things about going aggressive is if you're not sure about how well you're going to do when you are both tanking and having to play the math and all that stuff, it rewards you when you're not sure if you're the same skill level as your opponent, because
Right.
if you go really aggressive, it reduces the number of decisions on both sides. And as we talked about before, the fewer decisions involved, the less a skill difference will matter.
Mm-hmm.
And the more random the outcome is, and the more likely that you might be able to run into an outcome that's favorable to you.
Okay. Well, so we're going to wrap up the round. Darwin, thank you so very much for the deep insight. And in fact, Darwin is going to stick around. I'm going to jump out, and we're going to have Jay step in for, we're going to have CJ step in, or Jay. We're going to have somebody else here in the seat for the finals. The finals are going to get going in about 10 or 15 minutes, so stick around, and we'll be back for the finals of the StarRealms Digital 1K.
Looking forward to it.
Yep. Thanks for watching, guys.